I am getting out of town.
Graphic image of a woman that was apparently shot earlier today. We don't have an age. We're told she's in critical condition. She is now being treated at a local hospital. This came to us.
This proves that we had nothing to do with this.
We did nothing wrong.
We did nothing wrong.
We're bringing this to you.
Change your plans. We got to get these two in this car somehow.
Yeah.
Well, this,
Everything.
okay.
Everything is now going, both trolleys.
Change of plans. Let's get out of town. What do you see in both that new clip we have as well as what we aired tonight in the Stone case?
So, Ari, when you're planning a coup, it's usually not the best idea to have a camera crew around recording it. This footage is likely going to spell real trouble for Roger Stone and, as well, importantly, for Donald Trump. And it starts with, the prior footage going all the way back to the beginning of November that you've already showed. But this clip that you just showed on January 6th, Roger Stone saying he did nothing wrong. I mean, for a guy who claims to be doing nothing wrong, he certainly hasn't acted like someone with nothing to hide. I mean, innocent people don't go seeking preemptive pardons and plead the Fifth Amendment as he did before the January 6th committee when questioned about their actions. I mean, I live in D.C., and I happened to be in town when the events of January 6th happened. At no point did I think, oh, I better get out of town and pack my bags and call up the president and seek a pardon. Those are not the actions of a guy who genuinely believes he did nothing wrong.
What do you see in the way that he has navigated, and it got him in trouble in the Mueller probe as well? He hypes, he does bluster, unlike, as you say, some more perhaps career potential criminals. There's a propaganda and spin element to it. And yet, on the other hand, he is, we learn, talking to insiders about the elector plot. He is consorting with some of the militias. So there's a hype to it, and then there's also appears to be a there.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't say that the hype is any sort of excuse. I mean, he tried that hype last time around. Remember, Roger Stone is a convicted 7-time felon. He was convicted of witness tampering, convicted of obstruction of congressional investigation, 5 different counts of false statements to Congress. The jury took just 7 hours to convict him, Ari, even with his hype defense. And the only reason Stone isn't in jail is because Donald Trump pardoned him. And so, I think the kind of things that he was directing, he is kind of a bridge between the coupeurs, the people who were actually invading the Capitol, and the coup plotters in the inner circle of the White House. Just to take one example, the footage you showed last week, 2 days before the election, Roger Stone has a set play developed to say that there's doubt about the election, and now the phony lawyers have to come in and say that, state legislatures can appoint electors themselves, which is a cockamamie theory that I just argued to the Supreme Court and was resoundingly rejected 6-2. But, apart from the legal stuff here, Ari, remember, this is a guy who's saying, on November 2nd, before the election, F word the voting, let's get right to the violence. Or we'll have to start smashing pumpkins, if you know what I mean. That's a direct quote, which is also an insult to a great band. But, I mean, the idea that someone who's advising the president is saying, let's stoke the violence, it's baffling.
Yeah, all fair points. Neal Katyal, thank you.